Hello, you people out there in internet land. My name is Britt Kollick. I use they, she pronouns. I'm a professional stage manager, and today we're going to look at my makeup craft class from 2018. So real quick, I did take what were called craft courses in college. They were half semester courses, and you took makeup craft and costume craft together, and then a different semester you would take scenic craft and lighting craft. I, being a technical theater major, had to take the full semester long courses in costume lighting and scenic design. We did not have a full course for makeup. I really wish we did. It's something that I've always found really cool. I loved Face Off as a kid. I love watching people get ready on Broadway and for stage because there is so much that goes into it. A lot of looks you're going to see are exaggerated because what we were learning in this class was how to play for the back of the audience. This isn't film. This isn't where you're real close up to people. You have to paint big so that people can see you in the back. There is going to be a content warning. It is in this little PowerPoint that I've made up, but just to tell you guys now, we did a lot that involved blood and bruising and cuts and scabbing. So I put the less intense stuff first. It's going to be a makeup look, a period look. I did put a warning before my final look because there's a little bit of scarring on the nose in that. And then we're going to get into the much heavier stuff. I do also want to point out, because I feel the need to tell people that this is when I did it, I went to school in Ohio. So spring of 2018, I was a 19-year-old freshman. We were doing this January through March, and we were on the edge of the snow belt from Lake Erie. So I don't remember how much snow we got that year, because some years it was a lot and some years it was a little, but I remember it being brutally cold. And I remember having to wake up to 7:30 a.m. psych classes and carry my little tackle box that had my Ben and I kit to that class, have people ask me what that was, and then I went to the Performing Arts Center and beat my face, and then having to put on a bunch of cold cream to wash it off, and using sort of rough dollar store washcloths, and then having to put on a lot of moisturizer because I was going out into the bitter Ohio cold. So let's get into it. Old age makeup, this one is pretty funny to me. I mean, if you can see, like I would go like that and pencil in the wrinkles. These are, again, super big because we're playing to the back of the house, so you have to be very exaggerated. You can't really see in this one, but I did do my neck. You always have to remember to do your neck, especially when you're doing foundation, contouring, all that sort of thing. But yeah, the big thing we talked about was taking existing lines like when you smile or when you frown and accenting those so it looks natural. And we were just sort of playing where we were naturally going to age. And this is why I use moisturizer as regularly as I do, and sunscreen. Protect yourselves, kids. Period piece was cool. I did Victorian. Edwardian was another option. I think we randomly picked or randomly got assigned. Ooh, schematic jump scare. So this was what we had to do for every look that we did. A schematic is basically just showing what you need and where you need to put it. It's a very simplified version. So this was showing what I needed to do for foundation, for my eyebrows, my cheeks, my lips, and what product to use where. Because a lot of times in theater, with the exception of like Elphaba and Broadway, people are doing their own makeup, and that's usually the case. Principals often have some help, and it depends on the show, but usually people are doing their own makeup. I highly recommend looking up anything from Starlight Express in the UK because watching those actors do their makeup, absolutely crazy. So highly recommend going to check that out. This is my rough draft, as you can call it. What little research I did, it was like white face, big pink cheeks, and I did a fun lip. It was supposed to be like a heart-shaped lip. I think I did my eyebrows on this, but I remember the big critique on this one was to go bigger with the cheeks especially, and I was doing a lot of, as you can see from the front, I was trying to like contour the cheeks. So we have to make sure that I am able to have this play to the back of the house and that doesn't look weird on my face. We're gonna see how I did for my final. This one, you can tell I put a lot more thought into and a lot more work. It looks like I even contoured my nose a little bit. I definitely remember taking, it was like a big crayon, it was like a brow crayon, and taking that and doing my jawline. I did my jawline to give myself some separation between my neck and my face. Add a little contrast, really add to like a sharper feature. Make sure that this wasn't all blending together. The cheeks are much less contoured. They're much bigger so that they can play to the back. I like my lip on this too. It's still the heart shape. My lips are basically white except for that little area. Honestly, I think it's giving Margot Robbie as Queen Elizabeth. Content warning. The following slides contain simulated gore, including but not limited to open wounds, blood, scabbing, bruising, general grossness, however amateur the application, and beginner's execution of makeup slightly above skill level. So here's my final. Real quick about my final, it was a partner project. We were paired up randomly and assigned a tale that involved animals. Some people, I remember there were birds in particular. I was a cat, my partner was a mouse or a rat, I can't quite remember. We had to do a lot of work outside of class, and then when we came in, the way my college did it, our finals were in 3-hour blocks. So we kept the 3-hour block as is, we didn't decide to change it, come in later, come in earlier, whatever. So we came in and we had as much time in that 3 hours as we needed. There was no time limit. So we came in, built everything, got ourselves together, and then got looked over by the professor, and she took pictures so that she could go and grade us later. And there was also like a written portion and a schematic as well. So there were a lot of parts. So here I am as a cat. Fun fact, that big piece under my nose is all scar putty, and that was all of the scar putty I had left on me. I know that there was one other person in the class who was also a cat who also did a scar putty like built up under the lip to give that cat-like look. They did it much better than me. I remember building the scar putty up on my face and then doing latex over it. I remember using the wire brush to get the patchiness of the patches, or like a wire mesh sponge. So it was a little bit more coarse and less fine. The whiskers I was super proud of because I had tried so many different things prior to the final to get whiskers because I didn't want to just draw them on. And those ended up being wire that my buddy had that no longer needed it. It was just the right amount of thickness. It could stand up on its own, and it was green. So I just cut it to length, painted it white, and then stuck it into the scar putty to create whiskers. And I remember my professor liked that. My professor, I think, thought that was cool. That cat eye is so exaggerated. It is so bad. So bad. But again, when you think about it in terms of theater, it had to be as big because it was playing to the back of the room. I like the choice as well of me to have pigtails that were sort of like half done to simulate ears. That was a choice. Also, my whole ear is brown and white. That is hilarious. Now here's the part you're probably wondering why right above my nose it's like this weird pink gob, because it was scarring and it was supposed to look like rat or mouse bites. I forget the story in general, but I do remember it involved like a rat like biting my nose. So I had to use that. It looks like latex. It probably looks like I built it up with latex and cotton and then poked little holes in it. And looks like I filled it in with a little bit of like, probably like a red pencil. I don't think I had any blood left. You can sort of see now much closer how I had built up the scar putty around the nose. It was so hard to do. I couldn't do a practice run with it because I didn't have that much scar putty. So that was just sort of an option I had. Again, it looks pretty cool close up. It looks scarred, it looks torn, it looks like it's healing and or healed weird. But again, that is probably not something that's great for stage because it's hard to play that so far back. That was probably a critique. I passed my final, I passed the class, I probably got an A in the class. So, but you can see the whiskers, like a couple of them are even like pulling down and like drooping. It took me like 90 minutes, I want to say, to do this makeup in full because first of all, it took me forever to build around the nose, and then I had to build around the nose, I had to do the scarring up here, and then to get the face to look the way I wanted it to look in terms of the spots and everything. So, but that took about 90 minutes. Cool, I'm proud of it. For somebody who hadn't done makeup prior to this course, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty acceptable. We're getting into wounds and bruises, so this one's going to be a little bit more intense. If you're leaving us, remember to drink water, give grace. I'll see you into the next video. And for the rest of you, let's get into it because this is my favorite. This is a hand. This is the first time we were using liquid latex. We were testing it on our hand to make sure we weren't allergic to it, and then we were doing like a simple hand wound. It's the same photo, just a little bit bigger. That is Ben Nye actual blood in it. and I remember that dissipated really quickly. So I really had to snag this picture early to make sure it still looked fresh and gross. A big part of this class was talking about, hey, if you have a bruise, take a photo of it as it heals so you have an idea of how bruises heal. I have bruised like a peach my entire life, so I had that covered, which is why half of this hand is purple and the other half's a weird color. Also, you can tell where the liquid latex has flaked up because we applied it directly to skin. It wasn't like I was just putting on a latex prosthetic. Kind of plays with it because it's almost like scabbing, but it does look kind of gross and it looks like it's a piece. But for my first time, I mean, not bad. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with that. It was my first time working with like liquid latex. I remember having a ton of fun doing it. I'm gonna have a ton of fun with what's about to come next. I don't know what the assignment was. I don't know why I picked my neck. I don't know why it's so big, but what I have on my face right now, probably a layer of latex, and then that's cotton swabs on there. We did cotton swabs, we did oatmeal, we did coffee grounds. Fun fact, if you know any scare actor, coffee grounds, highly used in haunted houses, just to get texture. We were playing with texture. We were playing with how to achieve different looks, different feels, especially when you have to play to the audience. Texture goes a long, long way into helping convey something. So this is the first layer. That looks like it is with oatmeal. I remember, I think I was gonna go for a scabbing look, so I probably did another layer of latex. I think what I actually did was stuck my head on the desk to get covered, because it was so hard to like pick up a handful of oatmeal and just slap it. I think I sprayed it out on the table and did this. So I remember getting laughed at for it, but it worked. That is everything covered in latex and a foundation. I don't know if you guys can tell in this photo because half my face, it's only showing half my face, but the entire face has been beat in the same foundation color, which is super important for creating a cohesive look and not like you just stuck something on your face. And I'm gonna call myself on that later. Foreshadowing. This is the first pass of all sort of black and purple here, and then we're getting much more red and fresh up top. I do not remember what my thought was for that and like the weird healing pattern. I do think that it was a matter of like road rash, like I fell on asphalt or something, but I don't know why it was healing this way. Oh, there we go. My whole face now is purple, so it looks like it was sort of like a whole face injury. I don't remember getting critiqued on that. There was probably something to be said of why my whole face is sort of kind of bruised. It looks swollen too. That's actually the crazy part. That's such a big piece that I did for myself. I always went big. Do not know why I did that to myself. It's the other side. Okay, cool. A little bit more purple. I really was, I don't know I don't remember my backstory for this, but I had been through something. I also think it's weird. My whole face is purple. Just have this huge thing healing here, but there's nothing with the lips. There's nothing with the eye. It looks good as far as like, it looks like my face is swollen, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad, whatever my backstory was. Oh, cool. This is me. I don't know why I thought to take a photo when I took the piece off, but that is what it looked like underneath. That's what a prosthetic looks like when it was off and I had done everything around it. I think I probably just thought it was funny. I do remember, I don't know if you guys can tell, it came off all in one big piece too, and I don't remember if I ripped it off or I had to use Spirit Gum Remover. I could not tell you that. I do remember I still have that neck piece somewhere. I'm pretty sure I still have it. It's a huge latex piece. Cuts and bruises and wounds, oh my. This one was probably one of my favorite looks. I do remember that. So what you guys are gonna see is the day one, the building and the working it out, and then the day two, the final application. So I was super smart when I was building this piece and building this concept. I picked half my face. I'd already given myself a black eye, which I think looks good. I don't know. If you're a makeup artist, let me know down below, but I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good looking black eye. That is just a first layer of probably latex and tissue, and then I'm back at it with the oatmeal. I really love that scab look. Cool. So I got the oatmeal built up, and then I was doing what is eventually gonna be like a gash right up here. So that was just a layer, it looks like, of latex and tissue. That was another big thing, was using something really thin like tissue to help build up in small layers, because tissue can be very thin, sort of like skin, so it's really easy to build up on. It's so red and it's scabbing already. I do not know what the backstory was. That's probably why the black eye looks not as fresh. It's probably been a couple of days. There's the cut up top. I want to say I put a little bit of scar putty up there as well, because I think my plan was to put blood in it, the Ben Nye blood. I remember very vividly coloring it in with the Ben Nye pencil for some reason. You can see here, every everything from this part of my mouth over and sort of this side of my face over, I didn't do anything to. I didn't even put a full like coherent foundation, and that's really apparent now, and it's gonna get remedied when I do it for the final. But I think I was just practicing doing side of my face. I do remember that was probably a critique that I got. I was like, here's half my face, and she goes, you're gonna have to make everything look cohesive, so your other half of your face should at least have foundation on it. Oh, this is just a close-up. Yeah, you can really tell in that one on the right near my mouth that it's just my skin. This is looking like it's the final look. You can see that I at least did a full foundation, and you can see that much more clearly in this one. And you can really tell that this was a next day application because of the top part. I wonder if the next slide has it. You can see in the top, because you can see in the top cut, the walls are flat a little bit because they had to get put like in a Ziploc, or I think, and put in my makeup kit, and then it's also peeling. So it doesn't look super great close up. It looks, the farther away you get, the better it looks. The black eye is still looking pretty good. I look a little bit more jaundiced. I think I went for more of it's healing look. I think that's what I was doing. I think I'd gone a little too raw the first time, and I had to look a little bit more like I was healing. So it's very jaundicey, but it's kind of fun. Fun fact, and we'll see this at the end, I kept that prosthetic. I used it again my senior year for a Huntress Glam and Gore cosplay, and I probably still have that if I go find my kit somewhere. Yeah, this is the big like sort of difference between film and theater, is that could be passable through theater. Probably not great, but like you could pass that off on stage, because at 3 feet away, it's gonna be really hard for you to see that that's peeling, but you can't get away with that on film, and that's a huge, huge critique. Whenever you watch something, especially if they're going to go practically, is to look for seams and see where did they put it, how many pieces of the prosthetic. So here we go. Cool. This is this is my Glam and Gore inspired Huntress cosplay. So I did the one on the left first. My makeup skills got better, not by much, but they got better by the time I was a senior. And I did a fun little eyeshadow, and then I remembered that I had that piece, and I still had spirit gum and spirit gum remover, and because the piece was just made out of latex and uncooked oats, I slapped spirit gum on it, slapped it on my face, and once again, for some reason, I'm really playing with my chin hit asphalt. I skid, I guess. What's bad about this, and I don't know if I probably didn't do it, this is the only photo I have of this. It's so bright red, which is cool, but it looks like a prosthetic. I didn't do anything to have anything else happening on this side of the face. So it kind of looks out of place, but I was really proud that I got to use the piece again. And there you have it, my freshman year makeup craft course. I still remember a lot about that course. I still to this day just have such a love for makeup craft and prosthetics. It's so cool. I love watching movies because I get to see what gets done practically. We don't get to do much of it in theater right now. The biggest thing is always Phantom, because half of his face is mangled, and you do get to see it. And then of course, Quasimodo, I guess, is a big one. Starlight Express. The Starlight Express, what they do with their makeup is like really cool. If you have not seen it, go check it out. It is fantastic. So, but yeah, I try to stay up to date on this. I still have this on my resume. I can still apply prosthetic pieces, I can do blending, I can still do a lot of the skills that I learned in that class, and I just absolutely loved. So yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride. Sorry for the long hair jump scares. That's sort of why I kept my hair like it is today, to just show what a difference. So yeah, until the next video, make sure to drink water, give grace, and I will catch yous in the next one.